this class it's not going to cover. Okay, so but how we can delete the partitions? Okay, it's simple. So you have to unmount it and go to the F disk and delete that partition. Sorry, just a moment please. What is hello? No. Oh, okay, okay. ఒక్క ఒక 45 minutes తర్వాత కాల్ చేస్తారా? నేను కొంచెం వేరే కాల్లో ఉన్నాను. ఓకే. Hello. Yes, Ankit. So actually, we have one opening for Wind for Windows Administrator L2. So if anybody is there of your friend, you can just let me know so that I can refer you. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in between that could be fine. Salary maybe within 5.5 to 6. So it's not like that. So based on your previous salary and how you do the interview process and all the stuff, based on that they can give, but most probably they can give around 5 to 6 in between, or based on your previous salary. So if anybody is there, if of your friend, you can just let me know, but he should be in good experience with the Active Directory and SCCM. Okay, okay. So what we did on the last class here is that, so we just created this SDB1 partition, right? So and we mounted it to the some partition, right? So where is that? U01, right? This U01. So if you want to decommission, or if you want to remove that partition from your system, so what you have to do before that? Okay, so basically what you have to do here is you have to take the backup of your entire that partition to keep somewhere else on the, if you have your backup system like Commvault or Semantic or any other backup system, so you can just mount that partition to its backup client and just take the backup, or you can just copy those all the required or important files to the next system or next partition. Okay, so here we are not going to do that, so because we did not have any backup system or anything here yet, right? Or else you can just compress it all those files and you can just keep it in other files. So for if you delete all the data, then later on if you want to do it, or it's very difficult to bring back the data. So before that only, so what you have to do, you have to just copy the data or back up the data into the any tape system if you have, or if you have any backup system disk to disk, you can just take the backup to the disk to disk. Then after that what you have to do is you just unmount the file system. Okay, so after that you just unmount the file system. How you have to unmount the file system here is that, first go to /etc/fstab file and remove this entry. What are the entry we have added into the fstab, just remove this entry. Okay, now type just mount -a so that the mount point will be refreshed. Okay, but the mount point will not unmount immediately. Okay, so you have to unmount it. So before that, ensure that nobody is using that uh, this one U01 partition device. Okay, if you say, suppose example, what I am doing here is that I am just in U01, I am trying to unmount this U01. So what it say that, oh, that's target is busy, so I cannot able to unmount it. Okay, so this is the error exactly you are going to get whenever you do a unmount when the device is used by somebody else. Okay, so in that case what you have to do, forcefully you have to kill that all the sessions, or forcefully you have to unmount it. So that is not good for us. So say all the users, or intimate to the user, say that please exit from the whatever this U01 partition, so we are going to decommission it. So then after that you can just simply mount it, unmount it. Now you can see there is no partition, the partition has been, sorry, the mount point has been dismounted. Now go to slide. Yeah, yeah. No, that's not required actually. Now that's not required. So after deleting that, we can just refresh that. So now this point of time not required. We did not deleted the partition yet, right? So after that you have to just move to the SDB, okay, and print out your partition list and say delete D. Okay, very careful here. Whenever you hitting the D, then immediately it will ask you for the partition number, which partition number you want to delete. Okay, in this case you have only one, then it will simply delete that partition. But if you have any multiple partitions in this, so then you have to very carefully remember that which partition number you wanted to delete. See here, the partition 1 has been deleted. Then write and exit. Now do a part probe, okay, so that the partition table will be updated to the kernel. Yeah, so the partition table will be intimated. So now there is no partition, the partition has been screen swipe. Okay, so this is the method you have to do for standard partitions to be removed. Okay, so now let's going to see here how the LVM is going to work. Okay, so basically LVM concept, what does mean by, most of the people say that LVM means logical volume manager, right? Manager, but it's not the answer, right? LVM means logical volume manager, in the sense anybody can say, see, that is the definition of it, but stands for, what is stands for LVM is logical volume manager, but it's not the exactly meaning of logical volume manager. Okay, why we come into the logical volume manager? We already have the standard partitioning, and we also have the some tools to be increase the decrease the partition size using the gparted. But why we came into this method? Okay, we already also have the rate concepts, but why again we are most popular to use this LVM method? Okay, so basically what happens here is that if you have some work in the office, say let's say you want to copy paste some data, or you wanted to do some project documentation or something like that. So what you are doing here is that if you do that work, so it will take for you to at least 1 hour. Okay, so the same work, if you distribute to the 2 3 people, example take 3 people, you distributed, then at least it will take maybe 30 minutes or 25 minutes. Okay, maybe 25 minutes the work is going to complete. So now in the logical volume manager also, in the same way, what we are going to do here, it is that we are going to utilize a number of heads in the sense, so each one hard drive will have one head, one platter. So multiple platters we have and multiple heads we have on the one hard drive. Okay, in the same one more hard drive also in the same thing, and in the one more hard drive also same thing. So in standard partition, what we do, we use one hard disk to do a partitioning. Okay, whereas we combine these three partition together and create one partition. So what happens when you write your data? If you write the data directly to this disk, it may take at least a 30 seconds. So whereas if you write this data into here, it takes a 10 seconds, right? So performance wise, if you are going to distribute your data to the across the heads in the sense hard disk heads, whatever the heads is writing to the platter, so you are just going to distribute to the heads. So simultaneously you are writing the data into the multiple hard drives at a time by using an LVM concept. So that's where your data writing speed will increase. So you can IO speed can be increased, and you can save some data, and you can get some more performance compared to the standard partitions. Yes. So that is the concept for LVM. So again here, if you want to increase and decrease the standard partition, what you have to do here it is, you have to just take the application downtime and unmount all the partitions and do a G parted and increase the partition size, and again you have to remount it in the standard method. But that's not going to happen most of the cases. So if you want to do a application downtime where as your production is running, then it's very difficult for us to get the downtime. In the meanwhile, the partition is going to full and you cannot write anything on that. So but LVM, it can extend your partition size online. Okay, online means in the sense the partition is online, it's still mounted, then you can just resize your partition on the go, it's resized your partition. So no need to unmount and no need to do anything, so you can just simply add the space from that logical volume, then it will increase. So that is the method we are going to follow on the this LVM. So that's why it will be very flexible to use on the production environment in the so very mission critical environments. Okay, but where you want to decrease the space, ultimately you have to take some downtime, because so reducing the size may not be a preferable or may not be a good method to do that. So because reducing in the sense you may lose some data, whatever the data you have on that partition. So if you reduce it, it's not guaranteed that you may get the same data again, but you can reduce it properly, then it's work for you. But if you miss something, the steps, some steps on the reducing, then it goes badly. Okay, so in examination question, so there is a one more question from in this method is that they will give you one ext3 or ext4 partition. Okay, in that what the LVM, so in that what they will do here it is, they will keep some files, okay, one or two files in that LVM, then say reduce this file size from 100 MB to like 80 MB, something like that they will say. Okay, so you have to do successfully, so that then will be that question will be marked as successful. So if you reduce your file system, whatever the files are there in that uh, LVM, it should not be lost. Okay, that you have to do. So that is the question you are going to get on this. But so except that, so this is the method for using the LVM concept. Okay, so now let's say how you can create a LVM in this. So how, what is the process we have to follow to create the LVMs. Okay, let's see the concept here on the LVM. So it's simple. What we do here it is that we are going to create a multiple layers on that, so that it will be, the disk will be sliced into the multiple layers, so that it will be useful for us on the extending or decreasing the size. Okay, so what we do here it is that basically we can do from one disk, or you can do from multiple disks also, but as of now I'm going to do from one disk only. I did not have multiple disks on this system. Okay, So but concept I'm just explaining. So here I have one disk, so this disk directly I will convert into the PV. So what does mean by PV here? It is that physical volume, physical volume, physical volume, yeah. So each one disk I will just convert into the PV. Okay, after that PVs, so I have created 3 PVs. In this PVs, what I will going to do here, it is that I will combine these PVs into together, and I'm going to create called volume group, volume group. Okay, so what I did here, it is that I just created the PVs using the individual disks. Okay, this is one disk 1, okay, disk 2 and disk 3, and created the PVs, 3 PVs, and in these PVs can be combined into one. So I created the logical volume group. From this volume group, what is the size you want? So suppose say each PV contains 100 GB. So this volume group is 300 GB. Now after that, what is the size? What is the partitions you want now? So maybe I want to keep a 50 GB aside for my buffer. Okay, this I am not going to use it. So as of now I have 250 GB, so I want to slice into the different partitions. So in this I want to create one is a 100 GB partition. Okay, one more is a 120 GB partition. So one more is 30 GB partition. Okay, like this I'm just going to create these partitions. This is called a LVM, logical volume. Actually it is not it's not LVM, it's LV. Okay, logical volume. Yeah, yeah, that's what I said, right? See what we are doing in there, you're yeah, yeah, that's what. But this standard partition cannot be increased decreased, right? Suppose say here I have created 100 GB for now. Okay, later on I want to extend this partition to be 120 GB. Then how we can do that? Yeah, so that is the difficulty, right? So this is difficulty. So whereas you need more data size for your applications, but you not able to provide that data size where your application need, then what you have to do ultimately, you have to create one more partition, but that partition is going to be tedious task for you to change each and every configuration on the application, right? So application people, what they will do, they will just hard code that partition, the path directly to the code. Okay, then that case it's not going to be a preferable method. That if you so this partition has been mounted on slash u01, and if you want to create one more standard partition here and you want to mount it to u02, so these both are different partitions, so you cannot slice your application from off here, right? So that's going to be difficult task for you. How you can do a increase or decrease the size on later future tasks? You can do that, but what you have to do, so you have to shut down all the applications on this 100 GB. Then you can do resize, but that resize also cannot be guaranteed that it may do a proper method, or the data may be corrupted, something like that. So that gparted method is not proven method to extend or decrease the space. So that's why we are going to be LVM. Okay, so if you compare here or here, the logical volumes are same, almost the same for the user perspective, right? So here I given u01, here also I given u01, u02, what is the difference on there and here on the user perspective, but the administrator can know what's the pain in the backside, right? So that is only the method here. So we just wanted to utilize this LVM to extend or decrease your partitioning. Okay, so here we have a lot of concepts that you can take a snapshots for your data for the backups. Okay, you can simply backup your data using a LVM backup methods. Okay, so there are a number of features also there on the LVM, but here where, yeah, yes. You can take LVM level backup as well. LVM level in the sense, see, if you install your application on this LV, then you can take this LV as your backup, snapshot. That is also going to work. Okay, there are the methods. There are the methods we have already, but how the way you want to configure for your application. So that is only the question where you customize your environment as per your requirements. Okay, so this is the method we are going to use. So first one is the physical volume, second one is the volume group, last one is the logical volume. So how we can do that practically? So let's go ahead and see here. So as of now I did not have multiple disks, so I am just using the single disk here. Okay, we have disk and slash dv slash sdb. So in this SDB, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to create a primary partition first. Okay, so my primary partition would be 2 GB. Okay, again I'm going to create one more primary partition. Okay, second partition, and this partition size also will be 2 GB in size. Okay, I have created two partitions. Okay, so I can use two or both, two or three or four or anything, but two is minimum is required for us, or one also can be utilized for PV and logical volume, but that does not sense good, so better to use two for the PV or logical volume group. Okay, so now what I'm doing here is I'm going to utilize these two. So before that we have to change the ID of this one. So Linux to Linux LVM we have to change. So that's why I showed you on that class is that, yes, yes, is it mandatory we have to change. Okay, so now changing the type. So what you have to do here is that T for type. So what is the partition number? Okay, so I want to change the first partition number, and what is the code of it. So if you don't know code, you can simply type L. So as I know the code, you can 8E is the code. Okay, so I showed you on the previous class, you can see just to type, yeah. So okay, now you can type P, so it is changed to Linux LVM. So yeah, no, you cannot do that. The extended one, it will be automatically done. So when you create here 4 or 5, it will be done automatically. So if you want to convert it the primary, you can do that. Maybe I did not try that. Okay, so now next one, the second one I'm going to change. The second one is also 8E, and let's see that. So both are changed to Linux LVM type. Now change and exit from the partition and just say part probe slash dv slash sdb. Okay, you have disk -l. So my both the disks are ready. Now what we have to do, we have to create the PVs. Sorry, not volume group, physical volumes we have to create. Okay, yeah, yeah, no volume group, then after that LVs, logical volumes. Okay, so for this you have to use pv create, okay, and provide your disk path sdb1 slash sdb2, both I'm creating it a time. Okay, you can also do one by one, or else you can just create one by one. Okay, one physical volume exclusively monitored file system cannot open. What? No. Oh, is it mounted? I unmounted it, right? Unmounted it, right? So we removed the fs tab entry also. Okay, and how it is remounted. Okay, let's try again. Okay, okay, yes. Okay, now physical volume has been created. Now second one, next physical volume has been created. So yeah, you can simply type p, though there is no name for pvs. Okay, we did not give any names yet. From volume groups we can assign the names. Okay, so now this pv1 pv2 has been created. Okay, so those are sizes in 2 GB. You can also type pv display. So pv display will show you what is the pv size here. Okay, pv name. So we did not created vg8, that's why it's blank. Yeah, yeah, see what we are doing here, it is that we are utilizing 100% of that disk, right? So that's why what is the partition you have created, or what is the pv you have created, the same size, the partition, the same size of it. Or else you can also minimize the size from that. What is the size you wanted to utilize, you can also specify that by specifying the percentage or specifying the gb in size. You can also do that, but most of the times we do not prefer that. So we just create this, whatever the partition size has, the same size will be as pv size. Okay, so this is your pv ids and all the stuff details. Pv display is the command to see the pv, or else you can also simply type pv display and provide your pv name, so that it will display only that particular pv details. Okay, now our pv has been created successfully. Now create the vg. So what we are doing here is we are combining the pvs and creating the volume group. Vg create, and now provide the Vg name. So what is the Vg? Yeah, no, sorry, Vg name you have to provide. So what is the Vg name you wanted to? No, we are going to create only one VG now. We are not going to create multiple VGs, because we are combining those PVs into one volume group. Okay, so now you can specify what are the, yeah, any name you can give. So I'm just calling this is as data, or else for the first time for VG0 I'm just volume group 0. Okay, slash dv slash sdb1 is my first pv, and slash dv slash sdb2 is my second pv. I'm combining both into vg group. Now my vg has been created. You can type vgs, so that it will show you my vg. This is the vg we have created while installing the operating system. Okay, this vg is just now we created. Okay, or else you can also type vg display and type your vg name, so that it will give you the detailed information. So what is the vg name, and what is the format of it, LVM2, and vg access rewrite, and vg status resizable or not. Okay, it is resizable, and how many free p's as in, okay, physical extent. Okay, I will tell you later, don't worry. You will confuse now, so that's why I'm not telling about this, what is this allocated or free p's. Okay, so this is physical extents, how many are there, 1022 physical extents are there, 3.99 GB is free, completely the size is free. Okay, now we have created PV. Okay, we have created VG successfully. Now we have to create the LV. So logical volume we have to create. For creating that, LV create, simply say n for name. What is the name you call it as? Okay, here I'm calling LV0. I'm calling LV0. Okay, what is the size you want? Capital L for specifying the size. So out of 3 GB I want to create a 500 MB of 1 LV. Okay, provide your path slash dv slash vg0 slash, so it's going to create your LV. Okay, so you have to say LV create -n for name. My LV name is LV0, any name you can give it. Okay, for first time we are just creating, so you will be confused, that's why I'm just creating the same name convention. Okay, so my size is 500 MB, LVM size, LV size is 500 MB, and I am providing the VG path. Enter. Sorry. Okay, so now logical volume has been created. So you can type LVs or else LV display. Yeah, you have to provide your LV name. So okay, it's completely required slash dv slash vg0 slash lv0. So this is the details. So what we have created, we have created our partition LV size with 500 MB. Okay, the current extent size is 125. Okay, so this is the details. Okay, now my LV has been created. You can also see LVs. So here is my LV0 is with the 500 MB. Now we created PV, logical volume, sorry, physical volume, volume group, and logical volume also we created. So now what we have to do, we have to make the file system on that LV. Okay, same method, mkfs ext4, or else you can make it as xfs. Okay, slash dv slash vz0 slash lv0. Okay, what I'm going to do here is that I'm making the file system of xfs. Enter. So my file system has been created. Okay, so here the display will be different comparing to the ext4 or ext3. So because the xfs is changed little bit. Okay, not little bit, it's completely changed. Okay, so you can see the what is the naming conventions, how many sectors has been created, blocks, all the stuff, detailed information here. Yeah, correct. ext4 or xfs. Yeah, you can create ext3 also, but the thing here is that that is old version. Yeah. ext4 or xfs. Okay, anything you can use. Okay, so now xfs I have done. So now what you have to do, mount this partition. Okay, slash dev slash vz0 lv02 slash u01 we already have, right? You can type here. So now my LV has been created. So the same way you have to add for permanent mount. Fs tab, you can go here and add the entry slash dv slash vz0 slash lv0 and provide your mount point. What is the mount point you have? And provide your file system. File system is xfs and defaults and 0 face 0. Okay, That's it. And just type mount -a for your confirmation that you did a correct entry or not. So that's it. Now your LV is online. I didn't get you. Probe we already done, right? While creating that partition itself we done the probe. Now it does not require. Now we did not require. So we, when you create your partition, then only you have to update. So when you enter into the fdisk utility and created some partition or removed some partition, immediately update part probe. Next onwards, no, not required. Okay, so now if you want to do a extend of your LV, so in XFS there is one drawback, is that you cannot reduce your file system. Okay, no reduce in reduce XFS file system. You can extend it but no reduce. Okay, so that is the drawback of your XFS file system. So most of the cases we do not use reduce in production environments or the destined environments, because one first time we want to give the some space, then later on you can extend it, but most of the times we do not do a reduce. That is rare cases we do. So now if you want to extend your partition size, so as of now what is the size I have created? 500 MB, right? I want to increase 1 more GB for that. So you can simply type LV extend capital F, sorry, capital L and capital L, okay, plus 1 GB, and provide your path vg0/LV. So logical volume is resized successfully. So after that what you have to do here, it is that XFS, no, not required. So XFS, there is a command resize on grow fs. Okay, XFS grow fs and provide your vg path vg0/lv0. so before that, what is the partition size? You can see here, still you can see 500 MB only, right? So what you are going to do here, it is that we have extended the logical volume size, but there is no file system, right? So that is blank. We have to add the file system to that, then only it will be shown here. So XFS grow fs and provide your partition, so that now you can just go and type df-h. So the file system has been increased. So this is the simple way you can do a increase on the LV. Okay, so if you want to reduce, so in XFS it's not possible. You have to create a ext2 or ext4 ext3 or ext4 partition. Okay, that's why they say ext4 is the recommended for all the environments. So XFS is not yet completely proven for the production data serving, but basically you get a good amount of performance comparatively to do with XFS. Okay, compared to the ext4 or the ext3, XFS will give you good performance. Okay, so now what we done, we just created PV, volume group, LV, and created the file system and mounted it, and we done a LV extend, and we did a partition size has been extended successfully, right? For do a reduce, the XFS is not going to support, then what the method you have to do? Now I'm going to create one more LV, and with the ext4 partition, then we can try with the extending and reducing the size. Okay, so now LV create one more LV I'm going to create, lv1. This time I am going to call this lv as data. Okay, anything you can call it, right? So now as I'm going to create with 500 MB, or else you can just say 600 MB in size. Okay, now slash dv slash vg 0. So my lv has been created. You can just type lvs. So my data has been created. Now mkfs dot ext4 I'm just going to create. Okay, slash lv1, sorry, data, right? Data. So I'm just going to create. So ext4 partition has been formatted. mkdir slash u02 I'm saying here, and just going to mount it, or else no need to mount here. We just go directly mount with the fs tab itself. Okay, so for better purpose I'm just copying this line and pasting here. I don't need to type all the stuff. Okay, sorry, data, it's not date, u02, that's it. Yes, ext4, right? ext4. Now I done it. Now type mount -a so that your partition will be mounted. With the 0, that has been mounted successfully. So if you want to do extend, you can simply do a lv extend and one capital L. So remember, small l, capital L, there is a difference. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, it is 400 MB. I'm just going to increase. Yes, okay, 4. Yeah, extend only I'm doing, right? Okay, the vg0 and data. So I'm just extending my file system size, or it is, yeah, huh? Yeah, sorry, see, yeah, extended the right command only, right? lv extend. What I'm doing here, it is that I'm adding more 400 MB to my partition, right? Right, lv extend in the sense I'm extending my partitions. Yeah, so my, sorry, I forgot to give the place here, that's what it says. Okay, place. Now it's extended from 600 MB to 1000 MB. Okay, so here it's not xfs, right? It is ext4. So xfs growfs will not work here. Okay, what you have to do here, it is that resize to fs, resize to fs, and type slash dv slash vc0 and data. So if you want to reduce your file system, you have to provide in different manner, but if you want to extend your size, you have to provide in a different manner. Okay, so when you are coming to the reduce, I will tell you how to provide. Okay, now resize to fs, just enter. Now the blacks has been resized, and you can just type df-h. So my data size has been increased 969 MB. Before it was 575 MB. So this is the way simple. You can simply extend your partition size on the go, but most of the people say that you should unmount your partition before you do a resize. But in that case, why you want to do go with the LVM, right? So increase the extend size can be done on the go. Okay, but reducing the size, what you have to do here, it is that the method you have to follow strictly, or else your data is going to corrupt, then your LVM is not going to available back. Okay, so be careful. So just what you have to do here, it is that you have to take your LVM backup first of all before unmounting it, then unmount your file system, next one is that check for errors. Check any error correction or anything on your LVM. Okay, next one is that reduce your file size, file system size. Okay, after that reduce your LV. So this is the method you have to follow always for reducing your file system. If you do any mistake on this step, any step, then your LV is going to crash, then all the data will be gone. So what I did on the examination is that I did resize, again I did reduce, again I resized it, again I reduced the file system. So what happens, my LV data has been gone, so I disqualified on this question. So that's why I'm pointing it again and again for you that okay, do practice 4-5 times or 6-7 times until you are confident for your reducing your LVM size. Okay, if you mistaken here, your question will be lost. So that's what I'm pointing and again. So this is the examination question. So how to reduce your LVM size. Okay, so first of all, this backup we are not going to do anyway in the examination, right? So next, from unmount your file system, check for errors, reduce your file system size and reduce your LV size. Okay, so how we are going to do that practically. So let's say we have already ext4 file system, right? So now what I'm going to do here is that unmount /u02, okay, and just say dff so there is no mount point, that mount point has been unmounted successfully. Check for unmounted here, right? There is no u02. Okay, now check for errors. So for checking errors, what you have to do, e2fsck and -f, provide your LV path vg0 and data, enter it. So now it's checking, and it's check for everything, checking for structure, checking for connectivity, counts and all the stuff. Okay, now there is no errors found. So if any errors found, it will fix automatically here itself. Now what you have to do here, it is reduce your file system in the sense, what is the size you wanted to reduce. So I want to reduce for 200 MB. So resize to fs /dev vg0 and data and 200 MB of my file system size. I am going to reduce only 200 MB out of it. Okay, now type it. So 200 MB has been minused from my actual file system. Okay, now so what is the data size you had before? 969. Out of it, what we done, 200 is minus, then 769 is my actual size, right? So LV reduce after capital M. So what is the size you bring back up to? So I want to bring back my size up to 750 MB. Okay, /dev vg0 and data. Okay, enter it here. So it is saying, your warning say that, do you want to really do a logical volume to be reduced? This may destroy your data. Then of course yes, I want to do that. Now your file system has been become a 750 now. So what you have to do now, you just go and mount your partition. Okay, now dff it's not mounted, right? dff there is no mount point is mounted, so we unmounted the partition, right? There is no mount point. Now you can simply type mount -a. It's already added into the FS tab, that's why mount -a. Then you can see your size has been decreased to what? Oops. We did it in a wrong way. What did I minus by? Okay, choop 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 choop. Hey, where is? Oh, my screen went all the clear. Okay, what I done this one is I minus the 750M out of it. 750. So that's why 750 has been gone. History. Yeah, history, that's what. LV reduced by, yeah. So instead 200 MB I done 750 MB. So if you do this way, then your exam is going to be failure. Okay, yeah, that's what. So you have to remember this. So that's what I will be very careful, and I tried so many times, but still I have a confusion. So that's what you better do, compare your data before you do a resize to FS. So you simply write your commands, what the data you wanted to do first. Okay, so unmount it and check for errors using E2FS CK, and resize your file system how much you wanted to reduce. Okay, maybe you want to reduce 200 MB, you can simply reduce by 200 MB, and LV reduce by 200 MB. Okay, again we do here, maybe 180 MB is there, I want to reduce 50 MB from this. Okay, so then you can try with /u02, unmount it and go to dffnh. Okay, there is nothing. Now e2fsck /dv, sorry, -f /dv /vg0 and data. Now verified it, reduce your file system, resize to FS and /dv /vg0 data, and I want to reduce only 50 MB out of it. Now LV reduce. Okay, we have to mind very carefully here. I want to reduce only 50 MB, right? /dv vg0 and data. Now what? Rounding boundary between the physical extent 52 MB. Warning, reducing active logical volume of your 52 MB. So this warning you should read very carefully before saying yes. Okay, reducing active logical volume to 52 MB. What I did, correct only, we done correct only, I think so. Okay, so you can simply type resize to FS /dv /vg0 data, simply resize it and type dffnh, sorry, mount -a dffnh. Yeah, I done correct it only, I done correct, but after that we forgot to resize the LVM size. Okay, yeah, that's correct only. Okay, so it's correct only. So we do not have to provide what is the size. So what is the size you want it to be, that is only how to provide on the resize to FS 750 MB, right? So that is correct only. So to unclear your maybe you may be the still unconfused state, I got it. Okay, So we just do a unmount of your file system. What happened? Oops, unmount mount on the right slash u02 not found. Okay, so what I did, I unmounted it here. I'm just going to fs tab slash etc fs tab and just remove this entry from here and type mount hyphen a and let's check it out. There is no partition and I'm just going to delete LV. Okay, so for no confusion we just want to create a fresh one and try it. Okay, now I want to delete LV. Yes, LV has been removed it, right? There is no LV now. Now we are going to create LV again. LV create hyphen n and I'm going to create the LV name is data and my size LV is 500 MB slash dv slash vg0. Okay, my data LV has been created. mkfs.ext4 slash dv slash vg0 data. Okay, I just created the file system. I'm just going to mount it. Okay, slash dv slash vg0 slash data slash u02 df h. Okay, my LVM size has been created successfully. So I did not add it to permanent mount point in the fs tab entry. Okay, remember that thing. Now what I'm going to do here is LV extend and capital L. I want to extend by 600 MB dv slash vg0 and data and do resize to fs slash dv slash vg0 data. Okay, df h. Then my size has been increased to 1.1 GB. So created 500 MB of LVM and extended with 600 MB. 5 plus 6 is 1.1, right? 500 plus 600 equal to 1.1 GB. Now extend has been completed. So I'm going to reduce it. So reduce for you have to unmount your file system u02. Ensure that you are unmounted properly. So there is no u02, it's unmounted. So check for your file system e2fsck slash hyphen f slash tv slash vg0 and data. So I have checked it out for the file system errors and correction. It's done and I'm going to do a resize to fs. Okay, file system resizing by how much we want to reduce. Maybe we want to reduce for 500 MB. Yeah, 600 MB will reduce. Okay, so now slash dev vg0 data and 600 MB. Okay, I'm just reducing to 600 MB. So after 600 MB, what is this size I want to get here? I want to get a 500 MB of size, right? So now what you have to do, LV reduce hyphen capital M capital L and do 500 MB slash dv slash vg0 data. Okay, I'm reducing my actual file size. See here what it's saying, warning, reducing active logical volume to 500 MB. Yes, is it correct? Correct it, right? So what I'm doing, 1.1 GB, I am minusing 600 MB so that my file system size is going to be 500 MB. Okay, yes. So after that we forgot one more step here, that resize to fs. Okay, slash dev slash vg0 data. So do not do any stuff here, resize your file system properly. Okay, what is done here, it is that resizing has been cannot be read the block bitmap, so you have to run e2fsck. So you have to run e2fsck here properly, then your data has been corrupted, likely be corrupted, so it's went wrong, corrupted. Okay, maybe it's not going to mount it slash u02. Yes, it's went, super block is corrupted. So again we did your practical is been went wrong, access to fs has been went wrong. So this step, okay, what we do again, we remove the lv. Okay, slash dv slash vg0 slash data. Yes. Okay, lv create, and I want to create as data. I want to create as 600 MB here, slash dv slash vg0. Yes, wipe it off and create. Okay, it's created successfully. And mkfs.ext4 slash dv vg0 data. Okay, and I'm going to straight away I'm going to reduce it, so I'm not going to, okay, we can just mount it and see how it would be. vg0 slash u02. Okay, so it's 575 MB. So out of it I'm just unmounting it again, slash u02. Okay, just unmounted, and check it out for your e2fsck and -f slash dv slash vg0 data. Okay, and resize to fs, resize your file system by vg0 data, and I want to reduce 200 MB, 600 MB, right? I want to reduce it 200 MB, and resize has been done. Then lv reduce hyphen captain l and 400 MB, 400 MB only, right? So I want to reduce 200 MB. Okay, that's what only still confused here, right? So what it is saying, reducing active logical volume to 200 MB. So it is not correct, right? Reducing active logical volume to 200 MB. So we don't want to yeah, so it's not like that, right? If you minus 600 MB minus 200 MB, then it would be 400 MB, right? So that's why I typed 400 MB. So reducing active logical volume to 200 MB it is saying. So I'm not going to reduce to 200 MB, I want to reduce to 400 MB. Okay, that's why I'm going to provide here, it is 4. So it is now correct. Yes, now LV has been reduced successfully saying, so just mount it slash dev slash vg0 data, and this time it will be successful. Again 181 MB. Yeah. I'm still doubtful, let me see here. Okay, yeah, it's correct only, man. So after that you have to again type the resize to fs. That's what, after mounting you have to type the resize to fs. See, 400 MB is correct now, 377 MB. No, we have created the logical volume with 600 MB, right? See here, what is the size we have created? 600 MB we have created only, right? See, oh, where that went? Okay, 600 MB we have created, and after that we minus to 200 MB. Okay, it should be 400 MB, right? So now after mounting, so we have to do resize to FS, then it should be 400 MB. So that's it.